Good evening. We are live. It is Monday, the 27th of January, 2025. And we are here tonight to take a look at some edge to edge designs. And what we are going to do with them is show you how to take them from embroidery to templates. And there's Cactus Deb. Hey, Cactus Deb, how are you? Linda's here from New York. Welcome, my friend. And Gina's here from Mount Vernon, Washington. It's so good to see you, Jean. We have a lot planned for tonight. Hello, Linda, my Michigander friend. We're supposed to get like bad snows tonight, I heard. I hope you guys aren't going to be affected by it. Michelle's here from Ontario, and Joyce is here from Mesa. Kelly from Arizona, welcome. Sandy from North Texas. I hope you survived your winter getting down there. My goodness, you guys got snow down there like you've never had before, from what I understand. Bob is here from Chicagoland. Welcome, Bob. And Mary Kay from Fultonville, New York. Barbara's here from Joliet, Illinois. I remember something about a Joliet. It was a movie made by a couple of goofballs, yeah. They were on a mission. Charlene is here from Colorado, and Evelyn, welcome from New Haven, Indiana. Karen from Colorado and Lee from Spencerville, Indiana. High winds. You know what, Linda? You're absolutely right. They've just reopened the Mackinac Bridge. It had been closed for some time because of the winds. Up in the Keweenaw, for those of you who are not Michiganders, it's the northernmost point in the state of Michigan, was getting 70-mile-an-hour winds this afternoon. Glad it's them and not us. Susan from Minnesota. Hello, Susan. Welcome. And Nancy's here from Northeast Ohio. Mary from Pennsylvania. Well, Janice from Pembine, Wisconsin. I wonder who that is. I can tell you one thing, Janice from Pembine, Wisconsin makes absolutely wonderful banana bread. And Barb from Nampa, Idaho, and Marcia from Illinois. So let's take a quick look tonight before we get started. I just wanted to kind of review. Whoops, I knew I was going to hit it. I thought it would take longer than that. I'm sorry. Here we go. What I want to do, just kind of review with you that the starter sampler designs are going to be here, and these are going to be designs that we're going to take from embroidery and put them into templates. And we're going to be doing that with the starter sampler set. And then after we finish those designs, and there are 10 of them, we will move on to 6 feather designs. And they are going to prove to be a little more challenged, but I know that we can do it. Definitely can. And then we get to do 7 starry night designs. Guys, I got to tell you, I did the starry night quilt, I think 4 times. I love it as much after the 4th time as I did the first. I've done it as template. I've done it where we have painted or colored in it. I've done it, how else? A whole bunch of different ways. Anyway, suffice it to say, I really enjoy it. And I still do enjoy those Starry Night templates. They're a lot of fun. So, SS4. SS4 is what we're going to look at tonight. And Rita, hi, very hot in mine. Yeah, yeah. Rita says it's very hot in her neck of the woods in Australia, only over 40 degrees centigrade. That is pretty warm, Rita. You know, we'd be happy to take some of that heat if you want to throw it on up our way. Oh, and Sue says, from from Queensland, and she says heat wave there and rain in the north of the state. Oh my goodness, you guys. Yeah, it won't be long till we're complaining about our heat, I think. Lisa, welcome from Sugarland. And Joey, you made it. Good to see you. Sandy's here from Tampa, Joyce from Fairfield, California, and Beverly Kramer from Central Wisconsin. Beverly Kramer, every time I see your name, my heart does a little skip. I had a cousin by the name of Beverly Kramer, and I loved her very much. Ronnie is here from northeastern Arizona. You made it. Rita says, Rita says she'll take a bit of cool weather, please. Rita, if I could send it to you, trust me, I would. I definitely would. So here is tonight's chore. If it's a chore. No, it's not a chore. It's a selection. That's the word I'm looking for. Tonight's selection. And these are all what I've been making are more or less the 6 by 10-inch sizes. Just remember, like we discussed last week with these, and I did do an additional YouTube video to show you how to adjust the sizes on last week's embroidery design that we did. I'll talk a little bit about adjusting sizes here too. Now, what's interesting about this one that we've got to take into account, and I'm going to pull it over here and I'm going to make sure that I keep an eye on this. Barbara's here from Sudbury. Welcome, Barbara. Good to see you. What is interesting about this? This is our Spinifex number 4. Everybody recognizes that, right? This is the same shape as the Spinifex 4. This is close to the same shape as the Spinifex 4. So is this, and so is this. Obviously, these two are totally different. I'm going to show you how to make those tonight too. Those are a lot of fun. How do we make this shape out of these templates? That was the question I had to ponder this week. And so I have come up with some answers. What I like to do is I like to show you a little bit about how I end up coming up with them. Oh, Linda Shoebridge from Grand Rapids. Welcome, Lori. So good to see you. So what I like to do is what you're going to notice is I've got some different sizes here. And when I have the different sizes, I tend to use different templates to make them. And what you'll see over here is that I actually ended up drawing a square in the center coming out from that, then using different templates to get that rounded off shape. And what we ended up with when I did that was this. All right, now don't have to tell me it doesn't look exactly like the Spinifex 4. I know that. I do. I fully understand that. However, I want you to remember that what we're doing here is an interpretation. So because it's an interpretation, we don't have to be perfect, okay? You can all ask Ken. He's sitting on the other side of the table from me. He'll tell you I'm as far from perfect as anybody he knows. Oh, good morning. Nancy's here from Victoria, Australia. Welcome. And Dee Dee, chilly Las Vegas. Oh, goodness. That's going to be kind of nice for you guys once in a while to have it cool off a little bit over there. So this is the design that I am going to use here. It's close. It's not exact. Can we make it more exact? Probably. we'll see what happens. This one, however, is very easy to replicate. So we're going to show you that one probably after we do the center one. And this one, I realize isn't quite as rounded on the corners, but you know what? I actually kind of like that. It's very artistic, I think, very much so. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set that little guy aside right now. I'm going to get my big piece out here. And like I've done on previous stitch outs, I took my embroidered. This is my embroidered piece. And I always have to put right side, wrong side on them so I know which is which. And then what I did was I just put the approximate size, and here's my dots. You guys are accustomed to seeing those dots on here. Those dots are basically the centers of these motifs. Are they exactly the same as this? No. They may not be exactly within an eighth of an inch where they sit here, but it's okay. It does not matter. We can make these any way we want. It's our design, it's our prerogative. Okay? This is kind of cool. I kind of like how this came off, and this one I really do want to try and duplicate. So the first thing let's start on is our center. Okay, now guys, this one's going to be so easy. You all know this one. I'm gonna do just a little more fiddling with that foot right there. There we go. Can you all see well enough? If anybody's having a problem, please let me know right away. Ken's watching for you. He'll let me know if anybody can't see things well. What we have with our number 4 spin effects is we actually are going to be putting it on backwards. So we're going to put it on like this when it's really meant to go like this. If you prefer to go this way, by all means, go that way. It's your project. You can do it the way you like. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pull that bobbin thread up and out. And we're going to go ahead and put this back in here. Now, one other thing I like to talk about, stable tape, right? I really try to keep you guys up to date on stable tape. Some templates, for example, the symmetric ones, don't normally need to have stable tape on both sides. However, for some reason on this template, I have stable tape on both sides. Not really sure. One other thing I want you to notice, I'm not putting a crosshair on here because I want to see how well it works without one. I think we can do this, okay? My one stitch in place, and off we're going to go. Keeping those stitches just a little on the short side. And stop where we started. Now all I need to do is turn this. How do I know I'm on the right? How do I know that I'm lined up correctly? Well, I'm going to show you. I'll get you over here. You see this line right here? We can eyeball that. We're good enough to do that now. Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way. I've got that eyeballed. And now I'm going to put in my second rotation. Take that one stitch in place when you get up to the top because we want that point to be nice and pointy. I'm going to stop right there. And the reason is I want to get this thread out of the way. I can do that without burying the thread because it's going to be stitched over several times. There we go. My one stitch in place before I start moving. And now we are right back. Our needle is lining up with this vertical crosshair. Okay, the horizontal one's easy. It's on the crosshair, so we're pretty good shape here, right? And if you want it to be more angled, you can make it more angled. That's okay. There we go. And we're going to stop with that needle down. My machine does not have that fancy needle up, needle down function. So it's one of those things I need to take care of. But considering the beauty of the stitches of this machine, I think it's a small price to pay. There we go. And back around. Now, we were talking today. Oh, I was talking to Melissa. That's who it was. I had to stop and think of who I was talking to. And we were talking about traveling. Some of us have been doing free motion quilting for quite some time. And when you do free motion quilting, one of the things that you do a lot of is traveling. Not everybody has been doing free motion quilting a long time. And you may be uncomfortable with taking the template off and trying to follow a line of quilting. So my answer to that is leave it on. Use it. It's good. Use your spacing gauge. I'm going to come up this side. So I'm going to use my spacing gauge, and there we go. You'll see I've got a perfect 1/4 inch. So now what I can do is hang on to that template and come around and stop at the top. That's where I want this to take off. So there we go. I'm going to turn it around so you can see just how easy that is. And that, ladies and gents, is a perfect travel. And it gets us where we want. And we don't have to have any of that angst or concern about, am I going to stay on the line or am I going too fast or too slow? And all of that. After a while, you're going to get comfortable with that. And what you're going to find is you're going to actually start saying, I think I can do it without this. And you will. It'll be fantastic. So what we have done is we have put this in, and now we want to come over to here. And this is a fun one to do. So I'm going to, let's do, there they are. I know I had my edge to edge design. And yes, Stacy did update the deal day 20 today, guys. So we're all good there. Okay. Just wanted to let you know. And okay, the king of emojis put a purple people eater on there.
Deb said hi.
Oh, Deb said hi. So that's, yeah, he cracks me up too. Debbie said, can you crack me up? Yeah, you should get to live with them. Oh my goodness. It's a laugh a minute. And Susie is here from San Antonio. Welcome, Susie. So good to see you. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these guys. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm not crazy about any of these. Oh, do you know we're just getting our mail? It's 6:20 in the evening, and we are just getting our mail now. So of course, the dogs are guarding us from the mailman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use C, and that is going to be on the Sew Steady Edge to Edge Connector 1. I don't know if you guys can see that real well. I need to get a little dark something here. There we go. I'm going to use this one. Now you will notice on this edge-to-edge connector and the other edge connector, I do have staple tape on both sides. And I know you guys know what my criteria is for staple tape on both sides. If it's asymmetric, it has to have staple tape on both sides because that's just a rule I made for myself. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the way I like to do it. So when I come in and look at this, it looks like this is going to be a very close match. Is it going to be perfect? Probably not. Oh, and look, no, it's really not. It's going to come way over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up this way, maybe, or I might come over here and hit it to be. I'm not really sure. Or what I could do is go ahead and put my motif in first and then come back and join them because we're not embroidering. We can do that, and that is exactly what I am going to do. Now, this is a practice piece. I'm not going to bury threads, but I'm going to keep this guy really close because I'm going to be using him. Let's take a look at the drawn out version here. And let's see who else came in. Oh, Juna from Southwest Missouri. Am I saying that right? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And Helene is here from Quebec. Hi, Helene. How are you? Mm. Okay, so this die right here, what I'm going to do is I am going to put an 8-point rotation or an 8-point crosshair, I'm sorry. And I'm going to put the middle right in here. If you have mini crosshair rulers, this is a perfect spot to use them. Absolutely perfect. I'm just going to come in. I really like to have this vertical and horizontal center lines in. And there we go. I'm going to just make sure everything is squared up nicely. Now I can put my ruler on and get those 45-degree lines in. And there we go. Now we've got it. I am going to bring these closer together. And the reason that I'm going to do that is this is a rather small motif. I want to be able to get from beginning to end following my lines. So there we go. And it's not perfect. It's okay. Now, what I find is I ended up for this size, and this is a 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch. I ended up using the 2-inch simple circle for it. We have a lot of different tools at our disposal. And this one is going to be 2 inches by 2 inches. Look at that. Perfect. 2 inches wide, 2 inches tall. So let's go ahead and make it 2 inches wide and 2 inches tall. So to do that, I'm just going to get a smaller ruler because it'll be easier to maneuver. I'm going to come in here, 1, 2, 2. So halfway is going to be 1 and 1. I suggest going ahead and doing this just on practice sandwiches, like I did, and go ahead and put all these markings in. The markings can come off, and it's going to be fine. But see, these I already have erased the markings off. But these little helpers are ones that I do hang on to. I don't hang on to every sample that I do, but I like to hang on to these little guys, and what's gonna happen with them is they're gonna go with this piece of paper that tells what templates I used, what the dimensions were, and these will all be filed away with the set of templates so that in the future, I don't have to reinvent the wheel, if that makes any sense. I certainly hope it does. So, when I first tried this particular design, I immediately took out the 4-inch arc. And the 4-inch arc is, as you know, one of my favorites. Okay, thank you, Juna. Thank you. Susan is here from South Carolina. Juna says I am saying her name correctly. And Mary Lou is here from Florida. She says, better late than never. We'll take you anytime. No problem. So, with the 4-inch arc being too flat, I went next to the 3-inch arc. Yep, our template is also a 3, or our clamshell is also a 3-inch arc. And again, it's too flat. It doesn't really do a whole lot to make these rounded. Let me pull that out. Whoops. And show you what I mean. Where are we? This one. If we put that in there, we are not going to get the arc that we want. So what I did end up using is my 2-inch simple circle for the 2-inch arc. So we want these guys, the diagonals, to reach all the way out to the peaks right here. We want the vertical and horizontal angles to reach this peak. And that is going to give us that replicated square outline when we're done. So let me show you how I did that, okay? It's really so easy, guys. It is. And you know what? You can do this any size, just get bigger circles. If you have the simple circle set, great. All right, here we go. I'm going to have it coming towards you, and I'm just going to take this off because I don't need that on. I'm only going to be using half of the circle, or a portion of the circle. I am going to go ahead and put my spacing gauge right here. I have got it lined up so that my needle will come around and end up right there. So let me do that. One stitch in place. Again, staple tape only on one side. And there we go. If it goes over a hair, a stitch, don't worry about it. If it's a stitch short, don't worry about it. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because again, this is going to be buried in under a lot of stitching. Here we go. I want to make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. Oh, Patsy made it. Hi, Patsy. Good to see you. All right, there we go. Remembering to keep this portion of your spacing gauge flush with your template. And one stitch in place, and there we go. We're going to stop. Now I'm going to come up only because it's opposite. I like doing the opposite side of a motif simply because it will pull the fabric in at the same rate. And these are little arcs, so you do want to keep those stitches just a little bit smaller. Do you want to go down with them? There we go. And we're going to come here and come back to our center. So now I'm just going to make a turn and I'm going to go ahead and get those horizontal lines. Remember, it's always a good idea to practice stitching in different directions. When you see me stitching and I'm always stitching in one direction, it's because I want you to be able to get a good view of it. And I don't have a camera that follows me around. It's stationary. So I end up, these are small pieces of fabric too, and I end up twirling them around so you can see better. And whoops. Okay, guys. Guess what? I dropped something. Oh, Tara. Thank you so much and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, here we go. I can get this out of the way, right? I don't need that right now. And we'll come right there. And one more of these short ones. What I want you to see, we're going to take this out here for just a second because this is not just a cool flower. What I want you to see is if we did this way and this way on a grid, we would have cathedral windows. And that would be awesome too, right? And how easy it is to do. That's what I love is the ease. Okay. Making sure my template or my spacing gauge isn't cattywampus. We want it solid on there. And it is. So now we're going to come this way. And this is going to stop right at the point. Now, this might be just a little bit wider than the embroidered version, but it's okay. It can be. If you want it narrower than the embroidered version, then I would say use a 3-inch, which is the clamshell. And there we go. I just need to get that back. You see how it's a little flatter? We'll do the next one with the clamshell or instead, and you can see the difference. Oh, I got off of my template a little bit, didn't I? No worries. Okay, I'm going to pull this guy out and let's take a look at what happens here. There we go. What you're going to see is this petal is going to be flatter. It's not going to be as bulbous. Oh my gosh, where that word came from, I don't know. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to hold it here and here. And make sure you've got the staple tape next to your fabric. This is a template that I only have staple tape on one side, and that's because it's symmetric. And back into the center. And you know what? I like the 3-inch petal more than I like the 2-inch. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this guy with the 3-inch. And there we go. Perfect. Remember, we are moving that template, our hands and the fabric as one unit. If you can think of them that way, they all have to move at the same rate and in the same direction. Does that come natural to most of us? Not really. That's why we practice, right? Practice squares. I love doing practice squares. There's a lot we can do with practice squares. We talked about that today. You can make quilts for your local animal shelter out of your practice squares. You can finish them up, make them look nice. Maybe a pediatric unit would need some. We in our city put them in the trunks of police cars for children who are displaced. And the nice thing about kids, they're not going to look at your mistakes. They're going to look at the love that you put into that. All right. So here we go. What do you think? Who likes the 3-inch, which is these guys, better than the 2-inch, which is this guy? I'm liking the 3-inch. Okay, Donna says, good tip. I'm going to have to talk to myself. 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. Yeah, and that's okay. Go ahead and talk to yourself. Make up a song about it. That's a great way of doing it too. Deanna, it is so nice to see you. And she says, oh, better late than never. Absolutely. But you can always watch. Okay, Joyce likes the 3-inch better. Charlene likes 3. Donna likes 3. Susie likes the 2. Sandy likes the 3, and Juna likes the 3. Oh, I'm so sorry, Susie. It looks like you got outvoted on this one, but that's okay because you can make yours with the number 2. You don't have to make it with the number 3. So this is how we're going to make it. And what is neat about this particular design is you can make it as large or as small as you want. All you have to remember is those 4 corners, make sure to take those petals all the way out to the 4 corners. And on the 4 inside, the vertical and horizontal, they only go to where the square is. It just seems so logical. But yet, when we look at things, we're never quite sure what we're doing until we break it down. Isn't that the truth? And the bigger you get, the flatter the templates you can use because they're going to come out more. All right. I want to get to these other guys here tonight, too. Now, if you look at this is the first one that I did. You're going to notice these 4 outside were done with the 2-inch, the 2-inch arc. And these guys were done with I think they were done with the 2-inch arc as well. Let me see. Yep. So I use the 2-inch arc for this whole motif here. On this one, I use the 2-inch arc for the vertical and horizontal, and these 3 are a 3-inch arc, of course, with the 2-inch arc up here. Now what we have to do is we need to connect these guys, right? So we have, there's a lot of ways we could connect it. We could come in here and come around. That's too easy. Listen to me, too easy. I want something a little more challenge. We could come in here and do it. Too flat. We could come in here and do it. That would work. That's definitely would work. But I really, really like using these guys. So let's take a look. This guy is going to work really well. I'm going to come from this to this point. I'm going to go ahead and pull my thread up. If you're doing a whole motif, chances are you're going to know where you want to go and how you're going to want to get there. The first time is a practice. So This is what I do the first time I do it as a practice, as a whole design. Now I'm going to use my spacing gauge because I'm going to need to adjust this little guy. You see how he wiggles around? Isn't that awesome? All right, perfect. Okay, I couldn't do that twice in a row, trust me. One stitch in place. We're on that arc. Let's keep those stitches just a little bit smaller, okay? And we're going to stop at the top, right at the tip of that point. There we go. We're liking this so far, guys? I think so. I'm just going to go ahead and take this out, and we're going to cut that off. So far, so good, right? Oh, is that better? I'm sorry. There we go. Donna, is that better? I sometimes I hate that when I don't see them right in front of me. I wish I had another way to do it. All righty. Well, goodness. Guess what? I dropped something. Huh. Big shock. Big shock. Okay. Let's just take some of this off so that you get an idea. There we go. There we go. Loving it. Let's take a look next at this guy. And do we have him next? No, actually, we have this guy coming up. Well, let me see. I'm going this way, aren't I? I'm totally discombobulated, guys. Oh, that's why I had him backwards. Okay, so we've done this and we've done this. And that was here and here. So let's come down and do this one next. And this is our interpretation of that. So all we need, there is my point that I put in. All we need is a crosshair, a vertical and horizontal crosshair. Can we do it with this? Absolutely. Let me show you how. I am going to line this up on my horizontal center line. If I want this motif to be square on. Do I want it to be square on? Probably not. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cant that ruler just a little bit, and I'm going to put my vertical crosshair on. Now, what we want to do to make sure that we've got ourselves at 90 degrees in the corners here where we're going to come out, we want this line or this line, any one of these lines on the ruler to match up with this vertical crosshair. Now we can come in and make a horizontal crosshair. And what we know is this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, and this is 90 degrees. And that makes 360 degrees, right? So we are all set on that. The next thing, I do need to make it a little bigger, I think. I'm going to. Okay, there we go, just in case. So the next thing we want to do, I need to grab my paper here. The way that I came up with this is I came in and I made a square. This is a lot of monkeying around that we don't really need to do. But we should make a center square so that we get everything coming in where we need it to be. So if I want my outside square to be 1.5 inches, I need to be 3/4 of an inch on either side of my vertical and horizontal lines. So I'm going to put that there. You see I've got 3/4 of an inch here, and I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to put 3/4 of an inch on each side. This is 3/4 of an inch. This is 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to do it over here as well. 3/4 of an inch, and there's 3/4 of an inch, and 3/4 of an inch. You'll notice the big theme of tonight is working off of squares, and it works beautifully. There we go. So from here to here is 3/4 of an inch, and then we're going to come out 3/4 of an inch. Now this one we shouldn't have even have to measure. It should be 1.5 inches because 3/4 plus 3/4 is 1.5 inches. So let's go ahead and make that 1.5 inches. Okay. So now we've got a 1.5 inch square. So what I want to do for my center square is dependent on how skinny or fat we want these points coming out. This particular one, I used my 4-inch arc, so they came out pretty chunky, okay? Kind of like me, chunky. Okay, okay, there's a question here. Hmm. Okay, Don, I got the camera back. Thank you for letting me know. If the motifs are further apart and the ruler doesn't, I'm not really sure what that means. Yeah, it doesn't look right, does it? Cindy is telling me it's not the 3/4 of an inch on the last side, and I can see that. I definitely can see that. So let's go ahead and fix that. Now it's 3/4 of an inch. And that's going to come right up. There we go. Let's see how close it's going to come, but it really isn't because we're going to be making our points here and here. It's okay. And even if they do touch, it's fine. It's what you want it to do. Okay. Hi, Karen. That's okay. That's okay, Karen. We're glad you're here from Arkansas. It's always good to have you guys are the Razorbacks, right? I hope I got that right. Anyway, so what we're going to do to get that inside arc, I found it easiest to put a smaller square in here. And that square is 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and do that. And to do that, I need 1/4 inch away from these lines in all directions. So I'm going to put my ruler down 1/4 inch, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw that inside square. 1/4 inch. It's not going to be perfect, guys, but it'll be close enough. Okay. 1/4 inch this way. And it's okay things aren't perfect. They don't have to be. They really don't. I mean, I'm definitely not perfect, and my husband still likes me. Well, last I heard he did anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and just move that line down a little bit. There we go. Now, this is where we want our arc to be. And then it's going to come up straight into a point. If you want, you can make this with a curve, which is what I did on this one. This time, I'm going to make it straight though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine the size of the curve I want on here, and that is going to be my half inch by 1 inch clamshell. Sounds weird, doesn't it? And it's going to come out a little further than maybe we wanted it to or than we planned it to, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to do it straight. I am going to put my clamshell, we're going to be 1/4 of an inch away, and that's what we want. I'm going to start here, come around, and end here. So here we go. I've not done it this way, so it's going to be way too big, guys. Way too big. What size did I do here? Let me see. Okay. Oh, that's why it's a half an inch, not 1/4 of an inch. So to do 1/4 of an inch, we are just going to, there we go. To do 1/4 of an inch, I'm going to use the 2-inch circle. I'm going to start here at this corner, right there. Put my needle down. Pull my thread up. Needle goes back down. Now, where I am going for is this corner, the opposite corner. And you'll see that this absolutely works perfect. It's going to be we need to bring it down here. No? Yeah. I'm on the wrong one, guys. If we're going in that direction, I'm going in the wrong direction. Okay, let's start from the point. Let's start from the point, then we'll come down. There we go. All right. Sometimes I confuse myself. We're going to come down. We're going to stitch to here, and then we're going to come around and stitch back up. So there is my 1/4 inch. I'll make sure you guys see this really well. The camera is slipped. Yeah, I know this camera does that, and it's really, really irritating. All right. Hi, Suzanne. Okay, don't worry about being late. Okay, Susie says the camera is slipped. I saw that. Yeah. Got a good view now? Good, good. We're back on business. Okay, so I'm going to come to this corner. Now, I realize that this is a straight line, and we are going to go ahead and keep that stitch length shorter because we are going to do an arc and we want that stitch length to be shorter. So we want to be consistent. And that's all really there is to it. Now we're just going to, I am confident that I used this little guy here. And back up to that corner and back to that center. And, oh, there it is. I lost my spacing gauge there for a second. Okay, now we're gonna come back up here. Now I don't want to break thread, so I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna get back to that center. And there it is. There we go. Now we're gonna come back up over here. So I'm going to hold that there. And it's going to give me that smooth or that curve that I need. And now we're going to come back up here. There we go. I'm going to turn it again and you'll see that that's the curve we're looking for. Whoops, wrong way. Now we're going to go. We're going to stop at that square that we put in. And now we're going to come back to that center as soon as I pick up the template that I just dropped. Oh, you guys, seriously, I am such a klutz. Okay, make sure I've got it. I'm going to use my spacing gauge. There we go. Whoops. There we go. And stop. And this is the hardest one to do because it is so small. I'm going to tell you straight out, this one's tough. There we go. To that corner. Now we're going to take our 12-inch arc and go straight up to the peak. And back down. This one doesn't look as pretty as the one I did earlier. And now we're going to come back down to the center using that. There we go. There we go. And one more time. I'm coming back up here. The smallest ones are the most difficult. I have found that with every design that we have been looking at in this series, that the smallest one has been the hardest one to replicate accurately. But then again, it doesn't have to be accurate, does it? It doesn't have to be a picture perfect. And now we're just going to finish off that bottom with the curve. There we go. Whoops, I was going in the wrong direction. I want to go here. I almost blew it. Okay. So there we go. How's that for little? Oh, you can see it's small. It takes maneuvering and it can be done. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and connect these two fellas. And let's come off of here and around to here. Okay, let me grab my connector. Okay, Joyce, I love your thought. Okay. Let me back up here just a minute because I love this conversation. Joyce Klinkert said that's an awful lot of work for a four-petal flower. Joyce, you're right. It is. It definitely is. And Joyce Hatzel said that's a little too fiddly for her. She would use a mini spinifex. And you know what? Dee Dee agrees with you, Joyce. And if you've got the mini spinifex, my suggestion, please use it. It is so much easier, you know. When I took on this project, I was asked to do it with just this sampler starter set. So for me to say I can't be true to the project and take out the mini spinifex as much as I would like to because I do own them and it would be awesome to do it that way. But what we're showing here is that it can be done without any additional templates if you don't have them or don't want to purchase them. Personally, I want to purchase them. As you know what they say, the one who dies with the most templates wins. I don't know what it is we're going to win, but okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to get these two guys together. And this time, can we see that well? We're going to use the edge to edge connector too. And I'm going to use probably this outside. Look at how beautiful that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start here just because that's the direction that I'm going in right now. And I'm going to pull that up, put that back down, make sure my camera is still where it needs to be. Now, where I want this to come is I want this to come on the edge of this leaf petal. So I needed to come right there. See where I used my spacing gauge to get it right on there. Okay, stitch in place and off we go. Beautiful. And we don't have to follow it all the way in. We've got where we want it to go. So now we can clip off our threads if I could find a scissors. Oh, guys, I'm so famous at losing things or dropping things. And there we go. Very nice connection. One more, and this one is easy, easy, easy. We're going to put this one over here, and it's only going to take a crosshair. Where should we put it up here? No, let's put it here. Let's put it right there. And this time I'm gonna how did I have that one? Okay, this time I'm going to come at it from this angle, just a little bit off center. Kind of like me, right? A little bit off center. And there we go. That's it. That's all we need. I'm going to make this guy a little bigger. And what I did for this one, you'll see again, I did the squares. And what I did was I decided how far out I wanted to come and I put a square around it. And I used the 4-inch arc and the clamshell on this, the 1/2 inch by 1-inch clamshell. This is a little small, but we can do it, still do it. We can just adjust what we put on it to make it big or to make it bigger. Okay. This one that I did is 1 3/8 inches. Let's go 1 1/2. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to put a point at 1 1/2. I'm going to put a point at 1 1/2 here. I'm going to put a point at 1 1/2 here, and we'll come on up there, and 1 1/2 here. There we go. Now, the next question we have is how big do we want these points to come out from here? And this is the area that I'm talking about. So we don't want them to come out to the 1 1/2 because then what would happen is that would square this guy off like this. And that's not the look we're going for. The look we're going for has got a curved top here. But what we do want is we do want these two lines to come out the same amount from the center. So I'm going to come in 1/4 of an inch. Here's my mark. I'm going to come in 1/4 of an inch. And what I'm going to do is I am going to come out 1/2 an inch either way and see what I think of that. I think that's perfect. So I'm just going to put 2 little dots there. This one doesn't belong there. There we go. I'm coming in 1/4 of an inch and I'm coming out 1/2 an inch. So 1/4 of an inch from the tip of my motif. Whoops, there we go. 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to put 2 dots at 1/2 an inch each. Can you see those dots? Okay. Cindy says she loves all the various options this gives us, and you're absolutely right, Cindy. It does. You know, um, designing with these templates is just fun. I just really love doing it. It is fun. All right, 1/4 of an inch in, 1/2 an inch. And I'm going to do these 2 different ways because I want you to see what can be done here. 1/4 of an inch in and 1/2 an inch to either side. So there we go. Now that one can get put away. Now what I need has fallen all over the place. Okay. I know you guys are used to me by now. Kind of feel like the bubble-headed professor some of the times when I'm looking for things that I know I had here a second ago. I seem to have misplaced a 12-inch arc. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. one option we have. I'm going to start in the center and come out. And this is our first option. Let me see good. All right. Here's my dot. That's a 1/2 inch away from this vertical center line. I'm going to stitch up to it. Needle down. Getting rid of thread here because we don't need anything obscuring our view. This is my 4-inch arc. When I look at this, I know what is going to happen is this arc is going to be too flat. And you can see how far off it's going to be. It's just going to be way too flat. So let me put, this is a 1-inch, 1/2 inch by 1-inch clamshell. So if I put this in here, and I'm just touching here, I'm going to just touch at that arc. And then I come over here and I'm going to just touch exactly at that line. So let's give it a shot. Stop at that dot. There we go. I'm gonna get these other guys out of the way. Now we're gonna come back to the center. I'm gonna do that one more time. Doesn't that look like the cutest little Dresden plate you've ever seen? Oh, Lee, bless your heart. Lee says, "You're just showing how human you are and so much like the rest of us." And you know what? You're absolutely right. I am human, I am imperfect, and I am okay with that. What do you think? Oh my goodness. If I had a nickel for every time I made a mistake in my life, man alive, I'd be on a beach in Aruba right now. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I got a little cold going on. And when I start laughing, I start coughing, and that's not a good thing for you all. Okay, up. I'm going to stop again at that dot. I'm going to put in again my clamshell, which comes out perfect. Might be the only perfect thing today. That's okay. And back to center. Okay, I'm going to take this out so you can see this one before I do the other option. Okay. Isn't that cute? I think it's just adorable. It looks like a little Dresden plate. Okay, this one now I can go ahead and get rid of. And this one I'm going to use my 4-inch arc for. And we're going to take that up. I'm not going to use the 4-inch arc up here, but I am going to use it until I get there. There's our dot. Whoops, here's my spacing gauge. Make sure I'm measured out. Stitch in place. Now we're going to come up here. We're going to stop at that dot. We're going to take this little guy back out because we still want to end up with that nice curve on top. And oh, and there it is. And now we're going to take that 4-inch arc back. Remember to try and use your templates in both hands. Get used to creating offhands. That's always a good thing to do. Because when we have a big quilt, we're not going to be able to be moving it like I'm moving this nice little sample that I'm working on. Want it there. I want it there. And it's perfect. And around we're going to go. Stop right there. Now we're going to take our 4-inch arc and we're going to come behind us and we're going to measure that. And there we go. Now this will give you the look that you want, either rounded. This side here is more true to the template, okay? And it's just kind of nice and free flowing. This looks like a Dresden plate, or okay, I'm gonna do this. Don't laugh, all right? Here we go. I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna get this guy out here. Put this up. You guys are gonna know in a heartbeat here what I'm making. Okay, does anyone else see an ice cream cone in there? Oh, little pleasures of my life. I would love an ice cream cone. There we go. What do you think? Oh, good. I'm glad you guys like this. It is so much fun. I so enjoy doing this. And we can do this any way we want. Oh, what we didn't do is we didn't join these two. How about if we were to come from here to here? That would work with the 4-inch arc. Let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and use my spacing gauge. As you can tell, I use my spacing gauge a lot. It really is a very useful tool. And there we go. And they don't have to be in the exact same orientation as the embroidered one. They can be in any orientation that you want them to be. The key is just do it. Yeah, just try it. See what you can come up with. See what you like. See how it's going to work for you. Oh, these are the designs that I have for you guys tonight. First, want to tell you that I really, really appreciate you being here. It means a whole lot to me. And I just hope you guys are having as much fun doing it as I am. Lee's yeah, I want some ice cream too, Lee. I wish I could. I haven't found sugar-free ice cream yet, so Oh, and Linda, I love your sentiment. So many possibilities. And there are so many possibilities. That's what makes it fun. It is. It is. Debbie says definitely fun. If nothing else, it's fun to laugh at me and my mistakes. I'm good with that too. I really am. You know, comedic relief is definitely something we need in our lives. So if I can help you with that part, I'm happy. I am. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. And Lori can't wait to get into her sewing studio. Okay, now, Lori, when you do, I'd love to see you post something in Westerly by me that we inspired you to do tonight. Would you do that for me, please? I'd love it. Suzanne, thank you so much. Thank you. Rita, I'm so glad. It's always a joy to have you here. It really is. Oh, look at this. Sandy, I'm gonna be on your doorstep in about 20 hours. Strawberries and whipped cream. Oh man, alive, that sounds so good. You are so welcome. I just appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and all that fun, good stuff. If there's something special you want to see, let me know. I'll be more than happy to throw a YouTube video together, and we'll do what we can to make it fun. Juna, thank you. And Debbie, Cactus Deb, my buddy. So, hopefully, I'll see some of you guys tomorrow morning. We're going to start our log cabin placemat class in the morning. Tomorrow evening, we are going to do artisan circles. That is going to be a lot of fun as well. And Wednesday morning, we will be at 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. We're going to be showing you the strand of pearls, 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Don't forget, Deal Day 20 will get you 20% off of the templates that I'm showing tonight. And Lori says, thanks for all this training. I, for one, appreciate it. Thank you, Lori. Thank you. Linda's all just got done cutting her log cabin strips for tomorrow. Linda, I've got to be honest with you, I don't have mine done yet. It's going to be a long night for me. But we will see you all in the morning or hopefully see you tomorrow evening. And until then, let's quilt.